Hey, happy campers.
Welcome back to Camp Shady Birch.
Week 29 at your favorite camp with Counselor Zachariah.
And Counselor Jonathan.
Welcome back, everybody. Major news, major news. If you're watching on YouTube, you already can see. Guess what we got, you guys? iPads.
Ooh.
The girls on the toast have iPads. And if you watch on YouTube, Jonathan's laptop on his lap is the size of an industrial sized microwave.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And I feel like it just gets bulky. And I was like, we are on week 29. We deserve to upgrade our game a little bit.
Yeah.
So we decided to get 2 iPads. If you're not watching, mine is blue.
Mine is silver. Ooh,
Yeah.
we need to get some cases on these bad.
Oh, maybe we'll get some Camp Shady Birch cases.
I think that's quite the good idea.
Oh, maybe something's in the pipeline working for you guys.
Oh.
Hint, hint. Anyways, it's been a fun, crazy week in New York City for us, you guys. It's been quite the New York minute, I would say.
What have we been up to?
Okay, so on Thursday of last week, right after the episode dropped last week, we were invited to go to fashion designer's house, Isaac Mizrahi. You weren't really familiar with him, but I've known about him forever.
Mm-hmm.
He was really popular in the 90s. He had his own fashion line. He had a talk show. He's kind of a personality. He's definitely a socialite in New York City, does a cabaret show, much like Luann. So he's been following me on Instagram for a while, and he was like, hey, I'd love it if you and your boyfriend came and made a cooking video at my apartment. And I was like, 100% we're going to go. So guys, we went and it was just insane. First of all, he is obviously very wealthy. So we get to his apartment and there's a doorman there. So I'm already like, oh my God, this is crazy. And we're in a beautiful area of Midtown, kind of near the West Village. It was just a great area. And we get there and the doorman, he's like, oh, go up to the 14th floor. And I was like, what unit is it? And he was like, A, B, C, whatever you pick. And I didn't get it. I was
didn't either.
confused.
We were like, okay.
So when we get there, the door's kind of open. We knock at the door. A girl comes out. She mics us up because they want to film the meeting of us already mic'd up and ready to go. So we go into the apartment and we quickly realize that he owns the entire 14th floor of this building. And
that's when I say, oh my God, this place is absolutely gorgeous. And he said, thank you, I know. Which, hey, he knows. I respect that. And then you were like, I didn't know that you could buy out all of these apartments. And he's like, you can't. We just made it happen.
Yeah, guys, it wraps around the entire building, in the middle of Manhattan to own an entire floor. And everything in the apartment, you guys, looked so expensive. And I was in culture shock. I've never been in a room with someone so well connected, but also so down to earth.
So down to earth, very friendly. He didn't make us feel any type of way.
No, he was so funny. And every time we complimented him, he was like, yes, I'm very aware that I'm rich. Thank you so much. But he wanted us to make the Dolly Parton brownies and the Dolly Parton banana cake, the box cake mix. Because he said it was kitschy and funny and we do cooking videos. He does them. Mm-hmm. And it was a grand old time. We were there for an hour and a half and we filmed the entire time.
Yeah.
He was hysterical.
So funny.
But it was just such a surreal moment to leave that whole filming in his house and then be like, all right, have a good day. And we're like, this is just one of those moments since we moved to New York that I felt was actually just kind of so random and so funny and weird. It was cool.
Yeah, when we were walking out, I was like, what did we actually just do?
Yeah, we just shot the shit with Isaac Mizrahi, the fashion designer, in his entire 14th floor apartment. I don't know, it wasn't, the walls weren't even painted. They almost were stucco with some sort of tint. Yeah. And it kind of brightened as I got to the top. I was like, this is the most expensive paint job I've ever seen in my life. But it was truly amazing.
It was awesome.
I'm excited for that to come out.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it's going to come out. Also, I think it's going to be a reel, so I think it's going to be around a minute, maybe a little bit over, but they filmed the entirety of even when everything was baking in the oven, cameras were still rolling.
Yeah, he was still shooting the shit with us. So I don't know when it's going to be out, but that's going to be really fun to see. So to combat that, right? So with New York, guys, there comes really highs like that, and then really, really uncomfortable lows. So moving forward, right, into Friday, on Friday, we were meeting a good friend for brunch, and we took an Uber because I was like, I just can't handle transit today. And maybe transit would have been the easier option, because as we are coming up one of our streets near our home, I can see what looks like a mirage in the distance. Something I couldn't quite possibly believe that it could be true. No, there was a man fully pants down on the sidewalk, just shitting. guys, I'm not joking you. He was just straight up shitting. So I'm like, oh my God. And we're about to approach him. So I'm like, Jonathan, look at the window. And it was like the most comical timing I've ever seen in my life. As Jonathan turned his head to look out the window, we were just passing his raw asshole shitting. You guys
could see the whispering eye. It was 10 a.m. I had not had my coffee yet.
And listen, as you guys know, I am an IBS survivor. So this could have been a real panic. No, in all honesty, this man was definitely like, I don't know. He definitely had some mental health issues. I'm not like making fun of him at all.
Right.
It's that New York moment that I have not experienced that felt like such an insane, I don't know, like.
Good morning.
Good morning from what we had just experienced the day before. So to that man, I really hope that he is okay because that was a shocking way to wake up.
Yes.
But hey, it's all in that city life, city girl gang that we're a part of.
And then what else did we do?
Friday night was Rod's top 8 party.
Right.
Do you guys know who Rod is? He is it's just Rod, right?
Just quite literally just Rod.
ROD. He does like a lot of like work from home millennial content. He's really big on TikTok, really big on Instagram. So I'm sure you guys know who he is. But he's been doing these like MySpace top 8 themed parties. Mm-hmm. So it's like all the music is from like the 2000s and it's really fun. And we had a bunch of our friends were going there from the New York area. And he hit us up. He was like, hey, do you guys want to come? And we were like, oh my God. Are you sure? Absolutely, we're going. So it was a great night.
Yeah.
He had it at the Brooklyn Bowl, which is like half bowling alley, half event space.
Yeah, all in like the same open concept. Very bizarre, but very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And since we were a little bit of a VIP because we're friends with Rod, we got our own like section and we were like bowling too while this entire like DJ set was going on for hundreds of people and it was like insane. So we were like bowling with our friends and it was such a great time. But something so funny happened that when I watched it, I was like, couldn't help but laugh. Jonathan, what happened to you at Rod's top 8 party?
I feel like it's funnier if you explain it because to me, I know what was happening in my head and it was just like pure confusion and stupidity.
Oh, okay. So I'll explain it.
Yeah, tell me, say what it looked like from your aspect because I didn't think it was funny until you were like, babe, like what are you?
It was hysterical. There's like probably 15 to 20 of us in this like kind of like grouped off space, and like the bowling alley was ordered, drinks were ordered. We got our own drinks, but we didn't like pay for the bowling alley. There was just like a part of like everyone was like, oh, come over here. So we're like, okay, bowl, I guess. So it was like everyone's taking shots or whatever. It's kind of winding down to like closing out time of whatever's happening. And this woman approaches Jonathan specifically out of this entire group of people and goes to hand him the check for the entire party. And Jonathan is like in complete shock and like doesn't move. She has her arm extended, like very like forcefully, like take this bill. And Jonathan's like looking around, but his hands like are not getting up. He's like, what? I can't pay for this all. And then someone swooped in from his agency, A3, and was like, we'll pay for it. We got it. But it was like, why did she pick you?
I think I looked like the guy. Because it looked like someone had what I was gathering was she was just in conversation with somebody who I think she already had the card. I think she was trying to give the card back. So to me, I was saying like, that's not my card. And because she looked like we had just had a conversation and then she like looked at me. She was like, oh, I don't think you're the person because this is a very weird vibe right now.
Oh, the card was already in the book?
I think that's what it was. I think she was giving it back to be signed. That's why I was like, I don't know. It was
bit,
just very,
I guess.
Yeah,
so it's not that funny then.
I
wish you would have told me that before I started this story. I didn't know that was the end of the bit. Well, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that happened. But it was a very New York City week. I feel like a lot of times I get in my own head about doing social events because, I don't know, I hate interacting with people. Sometimes it's like really anxiety inducing, especially going to like influencer stuff, you guys. It's like, oh my, it's such a competition of who are you working for, who you're presented by, what's your next job. It's like, how about we all just talk to each other as people? And it's like, if you ain't making me laugh, babe, I'm not that interested in you. But I don't know. I feel
this is a good group. The group we were with isn't like that.
No, it's not. Yeah. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like, but like usually I just get really tense about doing anything because I do have some sort of social anxiety, I guess. But I felt like last week was my first really big week of being like, I'm saying yes to everything. Yeah. And it's actually flowing into this week. This week we have a bunch of other really exciting events that we're going to go to that I'm just like, hey, like why? If I'm going to live here, I need to start doing this kind of stuff because I must look like an asshole saying no to everything for what? To watch Sister Wives on the couch with my Chinese food?
Yeah, it's usually what happens.
It is. And I don't hate that part of me either, but sometimes it's good to be pushed out of your comfort zone.
Along with that, can we just say, I feel like you were pretty good at bowling. And for me, I'm like hit or miss.
I was okay at bowling. My total score was 60, which I don't think anyone would define as good at bowling. You were an excellent bowler. You were on your A game. You also left for 4 frames that I bowled for you because you were in the bathroom and getting drinks. But you can't sit here. You are a good bowler.
Yeah, but I can. The one time that we went, the first time I met your brother and your sister-in-law, I was like shocking myself. I got a turkey, you guys, which is 3 strikes in a row. And that's what they call it in the industry, the bowling industry. That
Big
is,
bowl.
yeah, in the big bowling industry. And then this time I was just gutter ball after gutter ball. I've also never bowled with rings on before. And that could have been it too, because my pinky ring kept getting stuck in the ball. And I don't know, the people on the other side kept taking the one ball. I had one ball that was very specific. I was like, that's the one that's doing well for me. Someone kept taking it.
Yeah, but it was such an impromptu bowl-a-thon.
Yeah.
We were at this party and everyone's like, let's go bowling. And we're like, okay. And then I was like 2 minutes later, I'm throwing an 8-pounder down this little slippery slope. Okay.
Not an 8-pounder.
So I have this really difficult problem when it comes to bowling, you guys. I am very petite. Like you basically could blow a candle and I'd fall over. But I have very short, fat fingers. My sister calls them Jimmy Dean's because you could saute those babies up and they'd brown up. But the problem is that I prefer a light ball. I don't like to go over 9 pounds. Okay,
Yeah.
8 pounds is my safe spot. But those balls typically come with a tighter finger hole. So
wait, are the numbers on there the weight?
yes. You never knew that?
I thought it was like the level like of intensity. I don't really know what I thought it was.
I guess
like no, sorry, keep going because I'm agreeing with what you're saying. Like it makes sense. Like an 8-pound ball has smaller finger holes, and I just kind of always thought like a shoe size. Like I'm a size 13 shoe, so I'm like a size 13 bowling ball.
No,
It's 13 pounds.
well, 13, and that would in turn you're kind of correct because it would add up to a higher intensity level because the bigger the ball, the bigger the blunder. Big balls and big blunders here on Wonder Bowl.
Okay, so continue with your finger hole.
So that's my whole qualm.
issue.
That's my whole qualm with the industry. Big bowl needs to be more size inclusive to those of us who are petite with fat fingers. And I know there's a girl out there or guy, I don't judge, who has this struggle with me where we prefer a smaller ball with a bigger hole.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really there to bowl. Every time I went up, I was like, okay, I'm really here to like dance and party and like I'll bowl. But then when you left me there for 3 rounds in a row, I had to bowl both your rounds and then both of my rounds. And I was like over at that point. I was like, I'm sick of doing 4 throw. It hurts. Your thumb starts to get sore.
And I know everybody over there thought that I was shitting. I wasn't. I was waiting for a drink.
Yeah, and I believe you because you're not a long shitter like I am. I won't even get into my shit stories this week, but I am on a new medication, you guys. I'll talk about it if it works, but it might slow down my urgencies. But I did go to the doctors, you guys. I haven't been in for 6 years, and I got some blood work done, and I am trying out some new things. It is Ozempic. Just kidding, wish it was. Anyways, that's it for this week. Attention campers, please meet at the old flagpole under the tall pine for morning announcements.
Morning announcements. Attention campers. All elevators currently at Camp Shady Birch are going to be closed and under maintenance for the foreseeable future. All activities will take place on ground level. And we'll circle back to that a little bit later.
Anyways, morning announcements. This is the news that you might have missed that me and Jonathan think that you shouldn't miss. It's sometimes hard-hitting, most of the times surface level. Jonathan, would you say yours is hard-hitting this week or just scratching the surface of the nonsense bus?
Well, why don't we ask the audience? Why don't you guys be the judge of that?
I like that.
This article is by Hannah Klieger, and it's titled Brooklyn's Newly Opened Museum of Failure Celebrates Bad Ideas, Silly Designs, and Overhyped Products. So I actually, back when I started on TikTok a couple years ago, I did a little series where I would talk about failed products, and those videos in turn did fail. But they actually have at this museum that they just opened. And you said that it was a traveling show, like a circus type deal.
It's like what do they call those when they're like traveling exhibits?
Like a pop-up?
I think this is the first time this pop-up has been on the East Coast or whatever. It's the first time it's been in the area. Is the point.
So I'm just going to mention some of the items that are in this museum of failure. So we've got the Bic for her pens, which I remember when this came out. Bic, first off, what is that company doing? They make lighters, they make pens, they make razors.
Oh my God, they do make razors, lighters, and pens.
And also, this wasn't at this museum, but one of the videos I covered, they made throwaway underwear.
Yeah, you said that series was a failure. I really enjoyed that series, and if I remember correctly, some of them did really well.
I think like one or two of them did like fairly well at the time. This was also like
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Let's carve into that real quickly though. I want to talk about that. The Bic for her. What is that?
So it's really just a pink and a purple glittery pen, and it's more expensive than a normal pen. And I'm not even joking. Like dead ass. You can have a normal pen, men's pen, if you will, and then you give it the pink tax, make it pink, purple, glittery, and the price is up.
Side eye. How? No wonder it failed. Okay, fuck you, Bic. Continue.
Then they had the Rejuvenique electric facial mask from 1999. Now, this kind of looks like they do have face masks currently that are like this, where the red light mask, but this one was like electric shock. So it would shock your face and you would get like little welts on you. And I think they didn't do enough testing on it, and they hit the shelves. I think it was really only on the market for a couple of months before they pulled it because people were getting welts on their face.
Also, it was very reminiscent of Silence of the Lambs, which I feel like came out that exact same time. What time did that come out?
94.
Yeah, so 5 years later, they're like, here it is, your own personal one.
You're right. But I was also watching a TikTok where they said that's how, I mean, besides wearing like SPF, another way to keep your skin young and elastic, and don't do this at home, but this is what the TikTok said, so I'm just regurgitating that, is like the small like puncture wounds, because it forces your face to use what's it called?
Collagen.
Yes, thank you. Collagen, like it forces the collagen reproduction. That's why people do the tiny like the vampire facials that make your face bleed a little, because you're forcing your skin to like to heal itself. So it's really keeping it like fresh and juicy. That being said, don't go out there and be doing that, but that's what the thought was behind this. It was just like electric shocks that were a little too shocking.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that was there. What else was there? Segway scooters. I didn't know that they discontinued those.
That is so funny. Me and Carly were just texting about Segway scooters. Like, we were just texting about that like 2 days ago.
Well, great segue.
Why did they go away?
Well,
they still do tours in some places have them. That's not fully true.
The owner, or not the owner, the inventor died on a Segway. He rolled off of a cliff.
Marcus Segway?
Is that what his name was?
I just made that up.
Oh, okay. I was believing it. But yeah, isn't that like an unfortunate way to go? It's like dying by your own creation.
It is. And I don't know what the purpose of a Segway actually is, but I think if it's in a controlled area, a la a bike path, I think it could be quite fun.
Have you ever been on one?
No, I've never been in the same area. I don't think I've ever seen one. Actually, it's not true. I did see one in Los Angeles once. It was a whole Segway tour in Los Angeles. Did we see one in Portland, or am I making that up?
I don't know.
Neither here nor there. I have seen them in the wild, and it took my breath away, much like I saw the Amish for the first time. But they're not readily available. I've never been in an area where it's like, would you like the opportunity to play? And I would, but I think that's a misstep on the company, because if it was like, here you go, rent one out, have some fun, I maybe would.
Where do you buy them? Like, I guess you can't anymore because they're discontinued, but I've never seen them in the store, like Walmart or something.
Best Buy.
Probably.
Radio Shack had a huge partnership with them. I made that up, but that would make sense why both are under. I'm not sure. Dick's Sporting Goods. That seems like a Sporting Goods. Bass Pro Shop. Get it in camo. I don't know. I like them though. I think they are chaotic. A la a PT Cruiser. They have the same energy.
They definitely do. I would get one then. Remember on the bicycles they had the little the beads you would put on the spokes, and when you would go, it would make,
are they like wheels? Yeah, there are wheels.
I think so.
Well, you know what's kind of similar to one but harder? A hoverboard.
Hoverboards.
Those did well.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they marketed them to children. Grown adults, they have hip dysplasia, they have back pain, they have bad attitudes. They don't want to have fun. That thing is too fun for them. They should have put them to the children, like moon shoes. I'm sorry, I've said enough about this.
So I've got just a couple more. I think this one's interesting. So there were fat-free Pringles that were actually made with Olestra. Have you heard of that?
No.
Now, Olestra was approved by the FDA at the time, but I think is now null and void because it caused people, like, it gave everyone hella cramps and diarrhea, as well as anal leakage.
Oh my God. Anything that's labeled with diarrhea and anal leakage.
Imagine you eat it. And also, once you pop the fun, don't stop. So like, how many Pringles are you eating?
Did you also hear that the FDA just approved like genetically like grown chicken? It's like not farm raised. It's like chicken grown in the lab, and the FDA is like it's approved. Like what are they not approving at this point?
How is that chicken then?
Like, I don't know. I don't want to veer off what you're talking about, but I'm just saying, like, okay, so if the FDA will approve that, they'll approve the poop Pringles. I'm all set.
The poop Pringles. Yeah, literally just anal leakage. Like not even like you can't hold it. It just falls right out of you like a mudslide.
Is this at the museum, the Pringles on display?
Yes.
I really want to go to this, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to keep going with this, but like, I really think this is up our alley and
It's
I want to go.
Quite literally up our alley. It's not that far from where we are when we're not here in Camp Shady Bar.
Yeah, when we're off campgrounds, guys, we're pretty local to this place.
Thirsty cat and thirsty dog. This one I actually covered. This was the second one that I covered on TikTok. It's flavored water for your pets. So they have like tantalizing tuna for the cat, and it's water that just is flavored. I feel like I can see why it would flop for dogs. I feel like it's not that big of a deal, but cats, like most of the reason why older cats die, like a big leading, and again, I'm just making this information up, is like a urinary tract infection or when they're not drinking enough water. So I think if you make water taste like tantalizing tuna, that could be helpful.
Yeah, I guess. Or if it's just too much salt in the tuna, it could dehydrate.
That's what, when I notice Buffy isn't eating as much or isn't drinking as much water, I'll give her like the full can of tuna in water. Yeah. Just so, because I know she'll drink all of the water first.
I think it comes to a point where it's like enough is enough. Okay, I cannot buy my animals Propel for cats. Like it's just, it's
Propel.
Do they really need flavored water? It's just like there's a hole in the market for a reason, and we don't want to patch it up right now. So let's just leave them to the normal tap, and then maybe whatever happened to giving a cat a saucer of milk.
I think it like gives them worms.
How does giving a cat milk grow worms? Where does the baby worm come from? The milk?
Maybe.
That's not true.
Well, when I go to the vet for my own personal checkup, I'll be sure to ask that.
Don't you like love the imagery of a cat drinking milk out of a saucer? I love saying the word saucer, by the way. That really rolls off the tongue. Do you want to try saying it?
Saucer.
Yeah, I'll have a saucer of milk. They're like, sir, this is an Applebee's.
Can I have I'll have a saucer of tantalizing tuna water.
Oh, Buffy would love that.
She would love that shit.
She's in the market for this.
Yeah.
But it's off the market.
Well, maybe if we go there, they'll give away a little free sample. Okay, and then the last one, which you did something similar. I don't remember if a company sent it to you or if it was an ad that you did or what it was, but it's Kellogg's OJ. And it was a cereal that you take, it's like a little, they look like tricks, like the little orange tricks, but it's supposed to like turn your milk into orange juice, and it's packed with vitamin C.
Oh, that's different. I did mine. It was a Tropicana cereal, and it was for orange juice, and it was just a big. It was honestly the ad did so well because people wanted to watch me put orange juice in a cereal and tell everyone what I thought. They were just promoting. It was a limited time. They were really just promoting orange juice in general because apparently there was a survey done that like. I don't remember the number, but enough weirdos out there who have or continue to eat cereal by choice with orange juice. It's too citrusy for me. It's too much.
I want to know where that information's coming from.
Yeah, like a surveyed group.
Yeah, who are they? I've never met a single person. I've never even heard that until you were doing that. I've never even been
surveyed. Why have I never been surveyed?
That's a great question. Where is this? Because we would alter those answers.
Have you seen those ads on those games that you play where it's like, oh, you can make real money off doing surveys?
I've done that before when I was at Rock Bottom and I was selling socks online as well.
Wow. What surveys were you answering? Do you remember any of the questionnaires?
It was pretty much like household questions. Like how much do you make? What hobbies are you into? What are you like registered to vote? All that stuff. And then you would get like 25 cents in Kohl's cash, which wasn't redeemable for 6 months after you took said survey.
The Carson family is obsessed with Kohl's. They live and breathe that naughty little false currency.
Listen, I got to get my candies. I got to get my Jessica Simpson's candies.
Kohl's for me really fell fell hard. I used to be a big fan, but every time I go in there, it's torn up. It's not organized. And they've had the same selection of Van slip-ons since 2011.
Yeah.
They have great linens.
Mm-hmm.
I give them that. And they have some great household appliances. The clothing is a miss for me. I'm not into my Candies collection anymore.
Oh, well, that is a bummer. Maybe someone listening has a hand in the Kohl's pot and they can make some alterations, if you will. That's a little clothing joke right there for you. So that's my morning announcement. What have you got?
I really want to go there though.
Kohl's?
No, the museum.
Oh. Okay, yeah, we should carve out some time.
Yeah, carve out some time. Okay, cool. So moving forward, I have a little news article. It's coming all the way from Anchorage, Alaska.
Ooh.
So an Anchorage resident, James West, put this Facebook post out there a couple days ago. And essentially what had happened was he was driving by a bunch of trash cans. No, what are they called? Trash bins?
A dumpster.
A dumpster. He was driving by, I don't know where these were, a bunch of dumpsters, and he saw a young moose foaming at the mouth.
Oh no.
So it wasn't a baby moose, wasn't an adult moose, a teen moose,
Yeah.
a toos, if you will. A toos moose was foaming at the mouth, and he, as any Anchorage resident would do, pulled over to get a closer look. And when he saw that the moose was chewing vigorously, and it wasn't actually really foaming at the mouth, it was a piece of trash that was lodged in its throat. Like a trash bag, like a clear trash bag. So instantly he was like, I really should call animal control. But he was so stressed that the moose looked like it was in such like panic that he was like, I have to handle it now.
Yeah.
He took 2 hands and slowly pulled the entire trash bag out of the moose's throat.
A hero.
Yes. And the moose was instantly relieved. And it was pretty crazy. And after that, the story doesn't end. He then somehow gets into the dumpster and finds an old pumpkin. And he gives the pumpkin to the moose.
Oh.
And the moose proceeds to play with the pumpkin and eat it while the guy hangs out with the moose for the next hour. They hang out in the parking lot for like an hour. He, at one point, gives the moose 2 pats on the nose.
Oh, very cute.
And then he leaves. And there's photographic proof of the bag in its throat, the bag out of its throat, and him with the moose.
Wow.
So everyone's calling him a hero, and animal control really wants everyone to know, like, hey, like this is the worst idea ever. You should never approach a wild animal, especially if it's in distress or hurt, because it can hurt you or hurt itself more. So, but I don't know. This was a good story. It ended well. I wouldn't promote that kind of movement moving forward. Someone in the comments was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. I'm like, well, you know what? Let's not drag him now because it worked, you know?
Yeah.
He put himself on the line. I think it was cute that they hung out for an hour after and they played with a pumpkin together.
Yeah, what was that? Was he waiting for animal control to come, or was he just like, let me just make sure this little moose is okay?
I think he was kind of vibing. And I think he felt like
cute.
The moose had like known that everything was good. And he was like, okay, like we're on the same page. Like, when am I going to be able to play soccer with a pumpkin with a moose? Like,
yeah. And the moose was probably like, I almost just died. Like, the least I can do is charity work for a human, and really just
I know
my philanthropic work is to kick around this little pumpkin.
He gave him 2 boops on the nose, 2 boop, boop.
That's cute.
So, but everything's good, guys. So that moose is alive, and that man is alive. And the pictures I think were really incredible because I'm like, not him pulling out the Nikon for this, like National Geographic, my ass. This is incredible.
Oh, that's sweet story.
So I was thinking I wouldn't do that. I am terrified of meese and mooses. I've never seen one in the wilds. I had just seen one. Did I talk about it on the podcast, or did I skip that story? I think I skipped it that week, where that moose was running behind someone that was walking their dog, and then it trampled them and hit them in the head with a hoof.
I didn't even hear that.
I thought it was a little dark for the podcast, so I decided not to do it. The girl's fine. Don't worry. She didn't die. But she was walking. It was crazy. I saw it on TikTok. This woman is filming from the road, and it was somewhere like in Snowy Village-esque world because the snowbanks were up high, right? So do you know when you're driving on snow how quiet it can be? It really muffles the noise.
Mm-hmm.
So she's walking her dog. You can't even see the dog because they're over a snowbank on a clearly like plowed sidewalk, and there is in the distance a moose picking up speed at the woman. And the woman, I don't think, can hear the moose because she got headphones in. It's nighttime. I don't even know. But the other woman on the road is driving and filming the whole thing. And the other woman driving doesn't announce that there's a moose chasing her until it's practically too late.
Oh
but I don't
God.
know what she would have done because it's a snowed plowed path and it was a high path. Like, she's going to throw her body over a 6-foot snow mound.
Yeah, I would open the back door and say, get in, get in, get in.
She
I lay on the
couldn't.
horn.
There was no way. It was like a wall of snow between the road and the sidewalk and the next bank. It was was a big lot of snow.
So what was the moose getting at? Like, why?
The moose wanted blood, to be quite frank. I called the moose, and his team has not answered question or comment yet.
Yeah.
But he trampled the woman. He like got up on all fours and kind of like hit her with a hoof and then kept running.
What do moose eat?
Trash bags and pumpkins, apparently.
Wow.
We're not sure, but he wanted blood.
Yeah.
I saw that video of those two mooses fighting in that cul-de-sac a couple years back. Remember that one where they had their antlers locked and they were tipping over minivans, and the top of the minivan was going up to the moose's breast.
Oh.
The minivan was hitting the moose's breast.
I don't like to think about moose breasts.
Yeah, well, get your mind out of the gutter. I want you to solely think about the scale of this moose, where the lower part of its breast, its chest, is the top of a minivan. That's how much taller it is. And these two things are fighting back and forth. One of them hits the minivan. I swear to God, the whole thing felt like an Avengers scene. I haven't even seen the movie. It like tipped over and up. They're scary animals, and I wouldn't have saved it. I would have been scared. But all this to say, I'm very proud of James West for standing up for animal activism.
Are we qualified to be giving advice? No. Are we going to do it anyway? Absolutely.
Welcome back to Dear Camp Counselors. This is the part of the show where you can write in some stories or advice that you need us to give feedback on. You can submit all of these stories and questions at campcounselorspodcast.com. There's a little tab you can click and you can write into us. And I thought this was a good one, not only for us, but for all of our campers to really mull it over and think about what they would do.
All right.
Okay, so I'll start it off. Dear counselors, my sister has been in a relationship for a minute, and I mean a minute. I'm talking a decade, and still has no ring after very, very clearly wanting one. She tells us excuses from him all the time, like, oh, he's just waiting for this, or he said he was going to do it at this time, but something came up. It's been exhausting to say the least. My siblings and I do like him, but we worry that he doesn't care as much about getting engaged as she does. Anyways, fast forward to December 25th, 2022. The parents told all of us to put in our PTO because they had bought us all a family vacation with all of our significant others invited, which we have never done before. We jet off this summer and I can't wait to get nice and tan. Anyways, my sister is 100% convinced that this is it. He will be proposing on this trip. He has not said a word to anyone in our family about it, so we're not feeling the same vibe. However, she swears up and down in her gut that she's going to get a proposal on this trip. Yes, the proposal is long overdue. However, my siblings and I feel that proposing on this trip feels tacky as hell. In a way, this feels like he would be taking credit for an extravagant proposal when in reality it was my parents who organized, planned, and paid for everything and everyone. Does that make us terrible people for rooting for this not to happen on this trip when we know she's going to be absolutely devastated if it doesn't? Help! Signed, just want to have fun in cabin 1.
So it hasn't happened yet?
No, a couple questions here.
Okay.
Let's start with the first one. Is 10 years too long to be proposed to?
I feel like it depends person to person. I feel like I'm on there. So I feel like it should have happened already.
I think not everyone needs to be engaged after 10 years, but if someone clearly wants it.
Yeah. And if you're in the relationship and it's clearly been communicated that like, hey, we're 10 years on, like what's going on here, buddy? Yeah.
She really wants that. And I think at that point, it's really kind of hurtful to not do that yet. And it's like, she's telling you outwardly, like, hey, when's it gonna happen? I'm so excited for it to happen. And like, you're not doing that. So I want to let you guys know that we think that your sister definitely deserves to be proposed to at this point. You know what I mean? Also, you don't want to like, I don't know, if he's not ready for that, then it's like, are you ready for him? You've committed 10 years. It's really mucky water here down at Camp Shady Birch, okay?
Yeah, mucky, stinky.
And I can't see it at the bottom. Moving forward to the next question. What are your thoughts on this proposal happening on a vacation that was paid, planned out by the parents for a Christmas gift?
I feel like it might happen, and I can tell where his head would be at for this to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like in his headspace, it's like, oh, this is going to be great because all of her loved ones are going to be there, and it's going to be like everyone that could that I couldn't rally up could be there. And I don't know, maybe some of her relatives are from like across the country. I don't know.
It's just the siblings. It's like an immediate family trip.
Okay, but I mean, again, like I don't know if even the siblings, like they might be out of house and like living in different states. But yeah, I do feel like if he does propose, this is like, to me, I'm like this. I don't know. Is this really the time? And then you're spending the rest of this family trip that the parents have put together celebrating the new engagement. And then I feel like the energy kind of shifts. But again, I do feel like, I hate to be like on the fence about things, but it depends on like the family situation. But with her, it sounds like they're kind of like, I really fucking hope this doesn't happen because we don't want it to shift into like something for them like that. Like this isn't the time for him to do it. You had 10 years, babe. You're going to do it for this 7-day trip that we're gone.
Well, I think let's put our emotions aside, all right? Let's support your sister. This is what she really wants, you know? So if it does happen to happen, we're going to be happy for her and we're going to champion it, okay? We can talk shit all we want when he's not in the room, and that's okay. I would hope that if he was going to do it, he would include your family in on the planning beforehand. Because I feel like if you were to tell your parents would be over the moon about it. And they'd be like, well, thank God it's finally happening. We don't even care. We all get to be there and support it and see it. So hopefully if he is doing it, he will tell you guys ahead of time. Is it tacky? Yes. Do I want it to happen? I feel bad saying it, but I do want it to happen for her sake, okay?
You want it to happen on this vacation?
If it's the only way it's going to happen after 10 years, well, God damn it, let it just happen at this point. You know? If she gets what she wants out of it at the end of the day, let's remove her own opinions to the side here and support her. I think the least he can do is tell your parents, God, they paid for the whole thing.
Okay, so we need a follow-up because right now we're heavy speculation. I do not think you're an asshole for not wanting it to happen.
No, you're not an asshole because listen, it's a safe space here to talk shit.
Yeah.
We can talk shit. I can want it to happen, but also think it's tacky and talk shit behind his back. That's
right.
okay.
But also at the end of the day, again, like to reiterate what you were saying, that if he does propose, I feel like our camper here who wrote in and the siblings there probably would be happy because they said that they all like him. It's just like, come on, man, like right now.
Yeah. Well, if anything, guys, our campers are a dedicated audience and we have people who make references to episodes from episode 2. So the campers are collectively, we're going to want to know what happens. I know this isn't until the summer, but guess what? Camp Shady Birch is going nowhere. So please write in and tell us if it happens or not, because either way, we want to know. We love the gossip.
We're dying to know.
Thank you.
Grab your bug juice and bear spray, campers. It's time to pack it up and take a hike.
It's time for Take a Hike. This is the part of the show where we talk about some of the stuff that's been grinding our gears. We're just going to bitch a little bit because this is a safe space and that's what we fucking do.
Yeah, we talk shit amongst ourselves, okay? We don't spread it online unless I post the video to TikTok and Reels. That's different. I'm trying to build the audience here. Anyways, you guys get to hear it first. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Jonathan, what you want to just kick in the balls and push down a hill?
This wasn't my original Take a Hike, but this happened to me this morning, like right when I opened my eyes. So it kind of put me into a bad mood to start the day. I've calmed down since, even though it was only a couple hours ago. So my Take a Hike, I feel like everyone could probably, well, maybe not everyone, could agree, homophobic comments, specifically coming from adults. I feel like we have gotten, on YouTube, there's YouTube Shorts, right? And we used to post a lot of the clips from the podcast on there, but it was reaching the wrong audience. It was like homophobic kids, which is annoying, but we have tough skin and it's like, that's the internet and that sucks. And it is what it is, whatever. So we stopped posting YouTube Shorts. So I recently did work for a company. Basically, it was for like cars, right? So I knew that it was going to reach an audience that may not specifically be my audience. So this man left a lovely comment after said company had already boosted it. So I had no control over who it was reaching at this point. And he left a lovely little F slur in there, right? We love that, don't we? So I went to his profile. I was like, let me just like see what this guy looks like. And he didn't have a picture of him.
Of course.
But he did have a name and he had 2 little numbers at the end of his username. So I said, okay, let me just use my noggin really, really quick and see what this guy looks like on Facebook. So I plug in the name and assuming the last 2 numbers were the year that he was born, if I add a 1 and a 9 to it, 1972. So I look it up and lo and behold, the picture of his profile picture from TikTok is the same header picture on his Facebook.
La la la.
So I was like, okay, this is interesting and public information. So I commented back because I just want to know where he's from, right? I'm curious because the weather permitting, it could put somebody in a bad mood. So I wanted to tell him to go touch grass, but I didn't want to tell him to do that if it's, if he lives in a cold place. So I commented back and I said, well, I hear the weather is really nice in
Just say it. Where's it from? Where's he from?
I don't want to say it.
Why, I want to know. Just say
So
it.
it's somewhere in Illinois. I said, the weather is really nice in Illinois. Why don't you go touch grass? He deleted his comment so quickly.
Yeah, because
like,
they love to
there it
hide
is.
behind a fake username. And you're being really gracious by protecting someone that was being outwardly homophobic. If it was me, I would have said username, email address, anything I could find, dox the bitch. We're too grown to be doing this kind of stuff.
I know. I'm not trying to dox anybody because then it looks bad on all
him.
parts.
It looks bad on him for commenting the F slur on somebody's Instagram. Like we're also in 2023 not defending somebody who's outwardly being homophobic here.
No,
right?
I'm not doing that, but I'm not doxing anybody because
Yeah.
in my opinion, that weakens my case for anything. So I just calmly let him know. I was like, I know where you're from. I also, I know the high school you went to. I know your wife's name. And like, that's that.
Donna.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not threatening anything. If anything, I was being threatened and verbally assaulted via comment section. I was like, and that wasn't the only one. There was like probably upwards of like 20 some comments that I deleted. I don't know if the company deleted any of them, but it was getting a little vicious in the comment section. And I was like, I was hoping we were a little bit beyond that. But.
Yeah. Also, you should tell the company that I had that issue once before when I had a lot of homophobic comments and I brought it to the attention of the my rep, and I was like, no one reported these all weekend, and I was fielding these by myself after you chose to boost them. I got an email directly from the vice president of a giant Fortune 500 company apologizing to me directly for how they handled that. Because like if they have the money to boost an ad, they should also have someone there filtering some sort of comments. Like we're human beings at the end of the day, regardless of what we do publicly. Like no one deserves to be like hate crimed on the internet. Like we can handle it because we're older, but like it's beyond.
I did tell my manager, and he's handling it with them, so I don't know what's gonna happen. And I was also just like, hey, like just a heads up that the comment section's not looking too cute. And I'm deleting on my part because to me, I'm like, I don't want their ad to be out there and everybody being hella homophobic in the comments, because I'm like, it's not reflective of the company, but like some people that it's reaching. I just thought we were so past it, but with all the shit that's been going on, I don't know. I want to keep it positive on here, but this is it's what was grinding my gears this morning.
I'm sorry.
I feel like it, it is what it is. It is what, but it really definitely took me back to a place where I was like, and then he was born in 1972.
Yeah, so he's not that old.
Well, he's old enough to know, but
he's old enough to know, but I'm saying like he's not like from a generation that didn't grow up with gay people. Like I'm sure you know who David Bowie is. Like, come on. Well, he wasn't gay, was he?
Well, I think he was flexible.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Flexible.
Yeah. So that's what's been grinding my gears. What about you?
Definitely a different grinding my gears. So as some of you know, I went to New Orleans for a bachelorette party to celebrate my bestie Amanda. Amanda's getting hitched in May. Woo! But we and then this is my take a hike. No, there was a part of
Amanda. We hate you.
No,
just kidding. Love you, Amanda.
No, she'll agree. So what I did not like about New Orleans, and it's not specific to New Orleans, guys. It's in a lot of different cities. My take a hike this week is horse carriages.
Oh.
We've come too far once again as a society to be partaking in this gruesome tourist attraction, okay? I just feel bad for these horses. Let me tell you why. You go up in a touristy area and it's a public street, okay? And they're lining the street and they're yelling at people to come do it. And these poor horses are just like standing on cement and they must be so overwhelmed, right? There's like cars whipping by them. There's people blaring music. There's like people just everywhere. And then on top of that, they have to carry around the body weight of these people to God knows where. Where are they staying at night? And we kind of made a comment to our ghost tour guide, and she was like, "They're fine. They're actually all mules, and they have the best jobs, and say they only work 6 hours a day." I'm like, "Girl, you're a little too defensive because I don't know anyone who I don't think there's any horse in the country doing these carriage rides that are actually being treated like they should be. Like horses should be on a farm grazing, and maybe it's okay if they're like, people go to like Yellowstone and they do like a wilderness tour." Like those horses live on a ranch. And when they're out, they're like, you're on a singular person on their back and they're like in the wilderness. They're not carrying a boat of 16 adults
Drunk.
it's screaming while like a lowered vehicle that's loud drives by them, dumping exhaust in their face while they're wearing blinders and beads around their neck. Okay. It's humiliating for them. And I think it's awful. I think it's so awful. And I want them to be banished and gone. So I will.
So kill the horses.
No, stop. Kill the workers. I'm just joking. And then that's the whole debate, right? They're like, well, what about the workers? I'm like, okay, what about the horses? Okay. The workers can work somewhere else. I don't care. This is not one that I'm like going to defend the workers being like, we're taking away jobs. These are jobs that we should be taking away. It's not humane. Take away the jobs. It is illegal or banned in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And Chicago.
Okay. Oh my God, that was the only place I ever did it was in Chicago.
Chicago, no more.
Good.
New York, it's been a real problem in New York. It's still here, but like 70% of New Yorkers voted in the last election that they no longer wanted to see that be a thing.
And you know what else?
It's I'm not like shocked in this opinion.
Yeah.
People believe this.
But also, what we saw when we were leaving Mr. Mizrahi's house was that they had the biker buggy thing where it's like a biker instead of a horse, and he's pulling like two people in the thing, and it had a little plastic horse head on the front of it.
Cute.
Yeah, so we saw that. So why don't, instead of taking away people's jobs, just give them a little bike on the front? Are these horses getting 401ks? I highly doubt it.
When I was reading about about the horse carriage industry in general this morning, San Antonio, I believe, is it San Antonio or Austin? They're having an issue with this right now. As every state, every city is getting pushback with this because it shouldn't be happening anymore. It needs to stop. And regardless if it stops tomorrow or 5 years from now, this is going to end because it's a domino effect, and as it should. So they were kind of like saying that the big issue with this, right, is like the loss of jobs, and they're trying to like figure out how to like kind of transition these people who have like done this industry forever into more of like a buggy situation where they can kind of do that. But like, okay, well, can they ride the bike, right? Because a lot of those places like revolve on you riding the passengers. But
Okay.
I will say, there was this really cool article from this guy in some part of like southern Florida, and he has an entirely electric carriage business. So it looks like a classic like Mary Poppins like horse-drawn carriage, but it's electric, which I think to wrap your head around kind of seems a little weird, but it brings the same charm and fun of it all, but protects the animal that was being like, I don't know, like torn up in the front of it. You know what I mean? It does look a little strange without a horse attached to it, but he does the whole narration, and he does like guided tours, they do Christmas tours, and the carriage is absolutely adorable. It looks straight out of a Mary Poppins movie. But that was a fun way to like transition from that, because parts of Florida as well, Key West, no more.
Right.
Like Key West is out.
Right.
So there's other places too that have been like, no. Asheville, North Carolina, they're done. Good for them.
So kind of bouncing off that idea, the electric bikes that I didn't really know existed until we went to New York.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to pedal, you just kind of like move. A Segway. We could attach a carriage to a Segway.
Yeah, I just think like let's put the animals first here for a minute, because I think if like the big debate is jobs, it's like, well, at what cost?
Right, there we go.
It's
We've
blood
already
money.
solved it.
It's blood money. Stop it. So horse carriages, take a hike. Online homophobia, take a hike. The least controversial take a hike we've ever had. I hope everybody listening agrees with what we're talking about. Okay, please.
Do you think the new counselor likes the top bunk or the bottom bunk? Over.
Either way, I'm giving them my boondoggle keychain. Over.
It is time for Camper Crush of the Week. Who have we been crushing on, or what have we been crushing on? I've got a little someone on my mind these days.
Who?
So it's someone that you and I really enjoy, and you just bought a cameo for our friend Josh from... Guys, it is Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray.
You have to say
Let me tell
Nikki
you,
Blonsky from the
from
movie.
the movie Hairspray. She had that video of her. She played Tracy Turnblad in Hairspray in 2007, and she just really is riding on it. She loves that musical, and there was a video of her that went viral. I think she was in West Virginia at a hotel, and she was like, "You guys are taking such good care of me. Look at this room," and she pans over to the most average to normal looking hotel room, and she's like, "Look at that giant screen."
You guys, what's up? It is Nikki. I am finishing day 3 of CausaCon. It's been amazing. West Virginia, you've taken such good care of me. I love you all. But they went above me. This place is just mind-blowing. That's amazing. I think everybody needs a TV that big. I'm just saying. Beautiful artwork on the walls. And then you come over. Then you do this. And you look out the window to gorgeous West Virginia. Oh my God, look at those mountains. It's so stunning. Good morning from West Virginia, everybody. I've never had biscuits and gravy before. And oh my God, Glade Springs, you have turned me into a biscuits and gravy lover. Thanks. Okay, seriously, I know I just said I never had biscuits and gravy, but this is the most delicious thing I've ever eaten in my life. Oh my God, Guy Fieri, get down here to West Virginia.
I ate it up. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was so entertaining. So I looked up Nikki Blonsky just to find out some fun facts about her. Not too many fun facts about her, but I did find a thread of tweets from Nikki Blonsky from Hairspray that I want to read to you. It's her essentially tweeting at other celebrities, much like herself. So I'm going to read a couple and I want you to guess who she's talking to.
Okay.
All right, first one up. Hey, it's at Nikki Blonsky from Hairspray. I saw you perform at the Teen Choice Awards. I love your music. You're the real deal, man. XOXO. Do you want me to give you the year? 2010. Who was she talking to?
Justin Bieber.
Incorrect.
Who was it?
Bruno Mars.
Oh, okay.
All right, next one. This is 2013. Hey girl, it's Nikki from the movie Hairspray. Long time no see. How are ya? Miss ya. Hope all is well. Let's chat soon.
I know who it is. I already saw this one.
Who?
Amanda Bynes.
No.
Oh, who was it?
Jordan Sparks.
Oh, was she in Hairspray?
No, she's just, making her rounds on Twitter saying hi to the people she hasn't talked to or seen in a long time. Lord knows what they were doing together. But
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We got two more for you. Hey, it's Nikki Blonsky from Hairspray. You were amazing tonight on Law and Order SVU. I'm dying to be on the show. You rocked it. Congrats. Who's she writing to?
Mariska Hargitay.
No, Rita Wilson,
Oh, I love Rita.
who had a walk-on role in May of 2011. All right, and here is the last one. This is coming from 2014. Hey, it's Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray. How are you, handsome? I miss seeing you around.
It's got to be Zach.
Zach who?
Zac Efron.
No. Close.
Who?
John Stamos.
Oh.
Everyone's favorite Uncle Jesse.
Equally suave.
I just love that all of these, like, I'll put a screenshot up right here on YouTube of all of the people she's just been like, hey, it's Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray. I love when she tags herself. I don't know. I just get a kick out of her. I think she definitely had a problematic past.
She definitely does. And she's so crazy. She's like on TikTok live all the time. And someone was like, stop talking about Hairspray. That movie came out like 20 years ago. And she goes, would you tell LeBron James stop talking about basketball? No, you wouldn't. So I'm never, ever going to stop talking about Hairspray.
Not
And
LeBron
she hasn't. She hasn't. Who was her fight with that girl from America's Next Top Model?
Yeah.
Brie?
Her and her dad got arrested.
Yeah, because she's crazy.
Yeah. So I just want to, I'm not like, when I say crush of the week, I'm just entertained by her this week. That's what I'm
She's
saying.
entertaining. And guess what? $40 we bought a cameo for Josh because we send her videos back and forth all the time. She gave everything to this cameo. It was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
This is long.
She sang at least 4 songs from the hit movie Hairspray. Did you know that Nikki Blonsky was in Hairspray?
I didn't. Who did she play?
Oh, she played
Tracy Turnblad.
Tracy Turnblad. You can't stop the motion of the ocean.
I love when she opened it up by playing like the nicest kids in town off of her MacBook.
Yeah, she did. Sometimes she does her cameos and she doesn't clear her throat. But this one, we got her fresh face.
Yeah, it was not giving bronchitis, which was refreshing.
If you search Nikki Blonsky on Twitter, she's reached out to 100 celebrities saying that exact, like, what is it? Like, it's like her, like,
Hey, it's Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray.
I'm surprised. Oh my God. So I'm deep in Nikki Blonsky TikTok as well. There was a TikTok that Insider Today or like Insider Weekly, what's that show? Whatever. One of those like one of those shows. They had her come on an interview like 3 years after Hairspray came out or something. And Zac Efron had just gone to rehab. Like we already forgot about it. Like I don't remember
I know what you're talking about.
And she ate up that interview. She was like, listen, I care about him, and I have been talking with him every single day since he's been in rehab. And I can't say much, but I can say he's doing fine. And it's like, girl, were you talking to him every single day? How did she get the role?
She auditioned for it, but I remember she was working at Baskin Robbins, and they made it like a whole big deal where they like filmed her being told. I think it was on the Ellen show. I don't remember exactly how she got it. It was like it was an audition, obviously, but it was like a contest of some sort. I don't really recall.
I want to see her back on the screen. We've had the resurgence of Lindsay Lohan. It's time for the resurgence of Nikki Minsky.
We keep calling her Ninky.
Ninky, we love you. I love her. She's crazy. She's a crazy, kooky girl.
All right. So who's your crush of the week?
My crush of the week is, it's not a person, it's a thing.
Okay.
It is pre-check at the airport.
TSA
pre-check, everybody. I am a big fan of them. You guys know I love airports, okay? So recently, after traveling so much last year, I was like, I'm getting pre-check. I think it's just the smarter way to go. If you don't know what pre-check is when you go to the airport and you have to go through TSA, there's like a VIP line for people who have pre-check, and you don't have to take your shoes off. The line is always way shorter, and you get through with a breeze, okay? It's for people who travel a lot. But that's what they want you to know, guys. They always say it's for people who travel a lot, but they're gatekeeping here, guys. It is $80 for 5 years. Okay. That is $16 a year. Is that math right?
Sure.
Yes. It's $16 a year. So that means if you fly once a year, let's just tack on $16 on the travel day, right? For what you're paying for an airline ticket, it's really not that much. But let me tell you the horror story that happened at New Orleans that basically is the reason why everyone should have TSA. We went to the bachelorette party for Amanda's bachelorette, great Kiki, but it happened to be the same weekend as the world's biggest dermatology convention.
I love that.
So there were 7 of us on the trip, and 2 of the girls had an earlier flight than the rest of us. So they left earlier in the morning on Sunday to fly back. I wake up around 6 a.m. They had just gotten to the airport, and they were like, hey, you guys, get here as soon as you can. This is a madhouse in here. They send a picture. It is like wall to wall for TSA. So the rest of us girls, the other 5 of us, were like, our like van's getting here at 7. Like, hopefully we make it in time. My van ended up getting there at 6:50. Everyone rat piles in it. We were 10 minutes on the road. We get there. It is absolutely insane. The girls have still not gotten through TSA. They're somewhere in the mix. And I checked my bag, and the only people who had pre-check in our trip was me and the bride's sister, Allie. So we're like, hey, we'll see you on the other side. We have pre-check. So me and Allie, I am not joking, we get through in 3 to 4 minutes, the entire process of pre-check, the TSA. And I went through the scanner. I was so hungover. I had my belt on and my Apple Watch, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, just go. They didn't even yell at me. They didn't even care. They were like, whatever, you did pre-check, just go through. This is not a joke, you guys. We are walking through, me and Allie, out of pre-check, and I'm seeing at the very end of the line coming out of the normal TSA was Katie, who was one of the girls who came there an hour earlier. She was just an hour and 20 minutes earlier.
She was just making it through.
Just making it through. And we had showed up an hour and 20 minutes later, and we're like, okay, we're already through.
Oh,
Isn't that
God.
crazy? Long story short, Katie and her sister Emma did miss their flight.
Because of TSI.
Well, you know, they could have, I love you girls, they could have got there a little earlier, but they went on an airline called Breeze, had never heard of them before. One of the Breeze flight attendants looked at Katie in her face and said, I don't give a fuck about your sister.
Okay, Breeze.
That was a flight attendant. I said to a person, I can't even believe it. They ended up getting home. They were supposed to be home that day at, I think, noon. They got home that night at 1 a.m. and spent a lot of money on extra tickets. So, but you have a real anxiety of getting through. And before I say that, the girls of the rest of our party an hour later did end up meeting us at the gate. They were in line for an hour. We were in line for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think the $16 a year, essentially.
And you know, to me, in my head, I always thought TSA PreCheck was going to be so expensive. And I thought it was going to be like an annual thing that I had to like constantly pay, like shell out $600, $700 for. That's what I was believing.
And they want you to believe that.
And you had pre-check, but you never went through it because when we travel, most of the time when we travel together, and you're not going to just like leave me high and dry. So when we were coming back from Disney a couple weeks ago, the line was like crazy. And that's the point when I have anxiety. I'm fine flying. I'm not scared of flying. I just hate like cutting it close, and I hate like possibly missing my flight and having to go through that whole process. So I'm fine on a plane. I don't care. But that whole process for me, I'm just anxious until I get through and I'm like, oh, okay, now I can like chill. Now I can sit and do my little word search, how I do. So I thought we were like pushing it a little bit close. We ended up being okay. But then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get TSA. I made myself a promise on the line. Next day I went home and I signed up for it. I went like right down the street, made an appointment, and it took me like maybe a half hour, like max. And it was like you said, like $80 for 5 years. I was like, well, okay.
And you already got it back. You already got it
And
approved.
I already got it back. I'm approved. I'm good to go. And now I'm a pre-check girl.
I'm just
look
saying,
at me.
guys,
I carry myself differently now.
If you have anxiety about going to the airport and missing your flight and you don't have pre-check, just take the time to schedule the appointment and get it done, because there is nothing more luxe, expensive, rich, fabulous, and gorgeous than walking through pre-check. It's like, I'm sorry, I've separated myself from these people because I went through the trials, tribulations of getting pre-check. I'm telling you guys, it is so worth it to drop that anxiety of travel. And I love it.
Well, wait, hold on. Now I need to fact check. Is it the $80 a year, or is it $80 for the 5 years?
For 5 years.
Okay.
$80 for 5 years.
Yeah, so it's like, I want to do a privilege check that like, yeah, it's great that we can afford that, but like you're saying like $16.
Yeah, you're right. If it's out of reach and you don't want to throw another $80 at travel, I get that. But if you are traveling at least once a year, I will tell you this right now. I've spent more money at a plate of eggs, bacon, potatoes, and toast at that airport restaurant, the Palms at JFK.
Awful.
Oh my God, the Palms at JFK. They love to just $22 for eggs. Get real.
And their logo looks like sunscreen.
It looks like a sunscreen ad. But let me just, all that to say is the pre-check for the year costs less than that horrible plate of eggs at the Palms. I'm sorry.
And we will be returning to the Palms.
Yeah, well, it's the only option in the morning there.
I know.
We end up going there a lot. But we travel a lot. Anyways, I'm not trying to like twist your arm here, but I'm just educating people because I think a lot of people think it's a lot of money, and it's really not. It's not $600. It's $80. 5 years.
What song's been stuck in your head all week? Welcome to Camp Songs.
Dirty Pop. Did that sound like him?
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is Song of the Week. It's actually called Camp Song of the Week, isn't it?
It's called Camp Songs.
Like, it's called Camp Songs. I don't know. I need to change that in this header. I always say Song of the Week. Camp Songs. This is the Song of the Week that's been stuck in our head that we want to share with you guys to add to the playlist. The playlist is available online on YouTube for free and also on Spotify, updated every single week in the episode description of this podcast. Go check it out. It's now so big that you could really, really flip through and really choose. In the first couple of weeks, we're like, hey, there's like 6 songs on there. But now it's really been built up.
There's like hundreds and hundreds of people who have saved the one on Spotify too. So I'm like glad people are like bopping to it.
Oh, I love that. So my song of the week, it's a repeat artist for me. I am down all bitch for this girl. It is a song called Touch My Body by Brooke Hogan.
Ooh, good one.
So Brooke Hogan was really popular in the early 2000s. As you know, Brooke knows best. That's my chica. We are best friends. We talk all the time on Instagram together, and it's not because I'm promoting her. I just genuinely am a huge fan of her. This song came out in 2020. Okay, guys? It's a very new Brooke Hogan song, but of all the people who have transferred from like, I don't know, reality TV to music, Paris Hilton did it right. Brooke Hogan did it better. I'm sorry. I think Brooke Hogan, she has a list of music that gets me going. And this one is probably towards the top of it. And I really want to announce this song today because not only did I hear it this morning, and that's why I'm talking about it, but also because I think it's a great song for right now because it's really going to transition us into summer.
Mm-hmm.
The weather's getting warmer.
Yeah.
The clothing's getting tighter.
Mm-hmm.
And the hair is getting blonder. So I really love this. This song should chart at number 1. I'm going to sing you a couple of the chorus of it because any chance for me to sing with a microphone, I'm going to take. Okay. Baby, we can go. If you want to roll, we can take a boat to my island. Baby, take a dip. Come and have a sip from my lip. We can go to my island. Touch my body, 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 body. Okay, so if you didn't pick up on the steel drum that was not available in my vocal range, there is steel drum in this song.
We love it.
And it's got this island vibe.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. It's so quiche. The video is so gorgina. Brooke Hogan looks incredible. She's aging like just pure, beautiful wine. And I don't know why I said it that way, but she just looks so good. And I love her tiny little denim like shorts, her yellow bikini, and her like sun in bleach blonde hair. She hasn't changed.
An icon.
And one of my funniest things about, well, also really quickly about the dancers in the video, very inclusive, size inclusive.
Yeah.
Everyone looks different. Everyone's really fun. She can do choreo like nobody else. She's so good at holding her own in that. And also, I think it's really funny. My friend Victor on Instagram told me about the song, and he told me that it actually was filmed at a lake. The song is all about island vibes, yet the video was filmed on clearly a lake. So it's giving Lake Champlain or something. I'm not really sure. But I don't care. I don't care where it was filmed because
it's such a good song.
it's so fun, guys. Windows down, sunglasses on, hair blown like a motherfucker, and you're gonna love it. I love Brooke. I love you, Brookie. You texted me this morning. I posted my story. You said, "Are you okay?" Because I went to move the car for the parking ban. I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm listening to Brooke Hogan in the car. Sorry."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay." I got it. I
Yeah.
understood, and I knew exactly what song you were listening to.
Full volume, babe.
I love that song.
You love that song.
It's a good one. We were like jamming to it in the winter.
It's not like ironically either. It's like it's actually like a really good song.
Yeah.
I'm not like liking it because it's Brooke Hogan and how funny that is. No, it's like no, Brooke knows best, and listen to that song because I know best by telling you to listen to that song.
Amen.
Touch My Body by Brooke Hogan. What is your camp song of the week?
Hard left turn there. My song of the week is coming from Rod Stewart.
Oh, Rod gets the party hopping and jumping.
So it's actually a cover. And I didn't know it was a cover, but the song is Some Guys Have All the Luck. And I'm picking it as my song because we were at a pizzeria. In the industry, that's what they call a restaurant that serves mostly pizza and Italian food. And they were playing that song. And I was like, I forgot about this song. And it really launched me back to a time many moon ago. It was giving me very much like minivan vibes because my mom used to drive a minivan. It was champagne colored. I think it was a
Dodge
Montana.
Caravan? Oh.
I don't need a Chrysler maybe.
Yes, I can
don't
see
know.
it.
I'm not sure.
I know the color.
Champagne, yeah, it was gorgeous. And we would always listen to Rod Stewart and a lot of that song, as well as the Beatles, like the #1 album, with the red and it's the yellow.
I'm nodding,
one.
but I don't.
It was basic. It's a compilation of all their like #1s. It's good, but it really took me back to that time because hey, I haven't listened to Rod Stewart by choice probably ever, but once I played that song again today and I played it yesterday and I was like, you know what, he's onto something. Although it is a cover. The original artist couldn't tell you his name. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. He didn't really top the charts with it years before that. Rod Stewart did it and he took it right to the top of the charts, Billboard Top 100 for a couple of weeks back in the 80s. Again, I don't know if I'm pulling that out of my ass, but I know that he definitely brought it to the top of the chart. You know that song, right? Some guys have all the luck. Come on. Some guys keep on me.
I know it by voice. I don't know it by word. My mother also was really big into Roderick Stewart.
Is it Rodney?
I'm not really sure. No, she loved Rod Stewart. He has that raspy soul in him, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that big bird hair.
He looks like a mouse. He's very mousy.
You think?
Yeah, like rodent. And I don't mean that offensively. I swear to God. I think he's a very handsome man.
You can't take that as a compliment ever. I don't think.
Maybe porcupine.
Porcupine, yeah.
And animalistic. I'm getting animal vibes from him. I think he's a nice guy. I don't know him personally. We contacted his camp. They haven't responded for comment.
Yeah.
My mother, she's a big
Yeah,
rodhead.
that's a big stewie.
A big they call them the big stews. No, both their moms I think it was at the time.
Yeah.
At the time.
He had the sex appeal for sure, the unbuttoned shirt and the crazy hair, and he just didn't care.
He was kind of like
Rod.
Yeah, what's that guy's name? Who's like the famous crooner? I want to say Al Pacino, but that's an actor. Come
Frank
on.
Sinatra?
Yeah, he's like the modern. He was like the new.
That's not where I was. Okay.
Oh, but do you think he's more like a new age Frank with that kind of like croon and like very like cool and like, hey, cats. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, we love you, Rodney. Stu.
Scary stories around the campfire.
Okay, guys, it's time for scary stories. And for the first time ever, we're going to be telling our own scary story because something truly spooktacular happened to us just a few days ago. What day was that?
It was, I think, was it last Thursday? I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Okay, well, We were going to see a premiere of a new Hulu show that is currently out, and we should actually get on watching that.
Yeah, it's called Up Here. It's like a musical TV show. It was really cool. Hulu invited us. We got to sit in a movie theater. They gave us free wine, you guys, popcorn and candy. And the show was actually really great. I wouldn't even talk about it at all if I didn't think it was good. But if you like musicals, what can I say? The characters are just so likable. You're going to root for them the entire time. We're going to continue to watch. And it was the best part of the night until something terrible happened.
It's no Hairspray starring Nikki Blonsky, but it is really good. So we watched the first 2 episodes in the theater, and then afterwards we're supposed to go to the little after party at the bar that they have. Absolutely beautiful theater. It was stunning. So the bathroom was upstairs, 1 flight of stairs. There was an escalator that went up that you would have to like walk through the bar area. That was not quite ready for us yet. Or you could take the elevator, which would take you basically right to where the bathrooms were. You wouldn't have to walk through anything. So I think they were trying to funnel people like to the elevators because they were like, we don't want you to walk through the party because it's not ready just yet. So we're waiting. We go up. There's about like, how many of us on that? Like 6 people on the first ride up. And again, it's only going up 1 floor. It gets to the top and it does this little shaky thing.
A little skippity-doo-dah.
Yeah, where I've felt that sometimes in an elevator, but this was different. And it was like, oh, it was like shaking its head. It was like, I do not like this. And I was like, okay. So we get off and we hit our 1s and 2s. And then we're waiting to get back on. And there is a kind gentleman who works for the theater outside of the elevator. And he says, only do 4. And he stops you and I from getting on, and he lets 4 people on. They go down. That's fine. We wait our turn. It comes back up. So we're the next. But as soon as we walk on, the guy walks away. So 2 more people get on behind us. There we go. We filled our quota of 4, our max capacity. But there's a lot of people who want to go back down. Again, they're not letting us down the escalator. So more people come on. And then more people come on. And I think we're at...
I counted. It was 12. I found the proof for it. It was 12.
12 of us on this.
Triple the capacity of the elevator.
And it is posted inside where it says 4 people maximum. And I think a lot of people suspected that was a COVID thing. Guys, it was not a COVID thing. The elevator begins to make its descent, and then it gets to the floor, or so we thought. And we're just kind of standing there. And we're like, all right. And then someone was like, okay, but is the door going to open? Guys, the door didn't open. Starts to get a little warm, and who was it who pressed the button?
A girl on the elevator was like, I'm going to press the fire department button because it's not opening. We've been in here for 30 seconds, it's not opening. She calls, the fire department picks up, where everyone's kind of rowdy because we've all been drinking. No one's really panicking, but she was like, we're here. We knew the address. We were in the elevator with these people for 15 to 20 minutes, stuck in an elevator.
Stuck. And there's a guy to the left of me who's like, I've been stuck in an elevator before. And being stuck isn't the scary part. It's when they're trying to take you out and the elevator could just fall through the shaft and decapitate you. And then he goes, have you seen Final Destination? I'm like, why would you say that while we're currently 12 people stuck on an elevator?
He was so weird too. He like pulled out a Swiss Army knife and started to like dig at the walls. I'm like, bro, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with it? What are you cutting out with the knife?
And and everybody was like letting him do his thing. And then I asked him, I was like, tell me your plan, sir. Because he was getting on my nerves. Honestly, that was the part where I was starting to snap because I was at my capacity. I was ready to get the fuck out of this box. We've been in there for 15 minutes. And he's like taking a Swiss Army knife, like screwing into the, I said, okay, what's your plan? You open it up and then what? Like, what if they need the bits and the bobs and like they can kickstart something that they need that stuck on there for? What are you doing? Like, stop trying to look like a hero. You look like a fool. And I'm embarrassed for you. And also I'm frightened and I'm scared. And if this thing plummets down, it's only going to be about 8 feet, but it's still scary.
Yeah,
it was so scary. So then the fire department comes and we hear them like shaking it from the other side and the whole elevator shaking back and forth. Clearly they can't open it. I don't know what they were trying to pry it open with. They open it and we're faced with it. I don't even know. Is that what it looks like in between the floors, I guess?
Yeah, we're in between the second and the first floor.
And we were like, yay. Oh. And we have to get through the bottom half of the elevator. They have like a chair pulled up to it and the firefighters are helping everybody crawl out of it. I was last one out and it was a time.
And then afterwards, we go to the after party and the girl's like, can I see your wristband? I'm like, bitch, you just saw us get stuck in an elevator. Obviously, we have a wristband. Can we just go up and get a drink now? God. And apparently, some of the other members of the group got vouchers from the movie theater. But we missed that boat. So we didn't get any compensation for being stuck in an elevator. And also, elevators should be at the capacity of which how many people can stand in them. I've been in plenty of crowded elevators and never thought twice. This was a big elevator for it to only fit 4 people.
And it was a renovated building. It wasn't old.
It wasn't old. It was the iPic on Fulton in New York City. Okay? If you're familiar, don't take the elevator.
Yeah, seriously. I learned my lesson. And we could have taken the escalator the whole time.
Besides that tall, redheaded man who was stressing everybody out, the rest of the crew was great. It's actually really funny. Everybody was there for the premiere except one person. One of the men in the elevator happened to just be seeing another movie in the same theater. And he was like, my movie starts in 10 minutes. And he was like stuck in the elevator.
And then they took her picture and they were like, we're going to put you in the newspaper, kids.
I have the picture online of the entire crew. But you know who's missing?
Who?
Nikki Blonsky. The girl that would look like Nikki Blonsky, and then the movie theater boy. So there's 10 of us in the photo, and then those 2 weren't in the photo.
Yeah.
So
why didn't you tell me? I didn't see it.
well, it was sent to my email. I already forgot about it because it was like, oh, here are like photos from the event.
Oh.
What?
I don't know. I don't know why I thought. Okay, sorry.
No, it's just like they were like, oh, if you got taken photos with the photographer, like they're in this like.
Oh, I thought that
drive.
I thought they were like, here, we know you got stuck in that elevator. Here's photos of you.
It was actually funny. It was the last photo of the entire like event photography thing. It was like everyone in front of like the step and repeat, and then it's like, and this is the crew who got stuck in the elevator, but all 10 of us are in there except Nikki Blonsky and the man in the theater. So there's 12 total.
Well, that was our scary story.
Have you guys ever been stuck in an elevator?
I could have done without that. Have you been? You haven't been stuck in an
No,
elevator.
but I feel like a lot of people have.
was-
Isaac Mizrahi had.
Yeah, we told him and he had a whole crazy story, but that's not our story to tell.
Not our story to tell, but his might be a little better than ours.
I was stuck in one once in college, but it wasn't that crazy. The doors opened and then they closed and then they opened again and we were on our floor.
Yeah, and honestly, like if had the elevator shaft dropped, we only would have dropped like a story, so it would have hurt, but we wouldn't have died. But like best case scenario, but it was just a very tense moment. But I think liquor helped ease the anxiety of everybody except yourself. You were the only one that was a little anxious, but it's okay.
Yeah. No, the guy to the left of me was too. He was like, I want to get out.
boyfriend?
Yeah, he's like, it's getting hot. It's getting hot. It's getting
It
hot.
was getting warm.
It was getting really hot in there. I was going to say it would have been different if it was like on our way up with a full bladder and like having to go and we were stuck on there for 20 minutes. That would have been worse. So at least it wasn't that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a scary story.
But yeah, that's all we got for you for this episode.
Thank you, campers, for listening. If you don't mind and you're new here, please rate us 5 stars and leave us a review. It really helps the metrics of whatever gods control the podcast world. This episode is sponsored by our brand new iPads. Apple ignored our emails, and I'm pushing forward saying buy an iPad in the hopes that they will see this episode and say, hey, those boys should really be sponsored by iPad. Anyways, we love you so much, campers. Write us in your stories, your advice, your questions, your spooks, your gossip, and your confessions, all at the website, camcounselorspodcast.com. We also have Patreon, where we're dropping this week all the confessions of the influencer trips from Disney.
That's patreon.com/camp counselors.
A lot we just threw at you, and if you ignored it or skipped or dropped off at this point, we understand. Love you so much, campers. And with that being said, lights out, campers.